Welcome to the Mobile Lite tutorial part 2, programming. After you successfully open the port, a window should pop up saying read configuration success, and that just shows you're ready to start programming. And what I'm going to do is go through each tab and just show you each function and what to input. So the first thing I'm going to do is just show you about the profile manager. And what this does is gives you the option to program the Mobile Lite with different settings, or different Mobile Lites with different settings. And so for instance, just click on Profile Manager. I have here, you have just different settings for each person. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new profile. And so I'm going to select New Profile right here, and I'm just going to call it Jane Doe. Click OK, and you're ready to start programming for Jane Doe. And so what I'm going to do is go through each tab and just show you what needs to be inputted, starting with the SMS program. And this first tab, this function allows you to program the Mobile Lite to text messaging. You can refer to the user guide for the list of commands. So as far as the keyword and access code goes, I'm just going to leave it as it is. The next tab is your APN. Now this is your access point network name. You need this information regarding your SIM card that you're using. So if you're using a T-Mobile SIM card, you want to type in epc.tmobile.com. However, if you're using an AT&T SIM card, you want to type in wap.singular. I'm going to click on Write. If you have other SIM cards, you can check with your SIM card provider, and they will provide you an APN name. The next tab is your report. And this is where you input the recipient's information or your emergency contacts. So the first destination, I'm just going to input the CMS phone number. I'm just typing a random number. And then for event, I select all. You can select emergency or status, and I'm just going to select all for both. And for type, I'm going to select speech. That way you're able to speak with the operator two-way. And for group, I'm going to select 1. The next destination, I'm going to select the CMS information. So I'm going to type in your account number and then their IP address. Followed by a colon, and then the port number. And next, for event, I'm going to select all two as well. And for type, you can select any protocol that, depending on your central monitoring station, what they use. You can select whatever protocol we have here. Some central monitoring stations use XML, some prefer SCIA over IP, but depending on what particular one they want to use, you just select it, and that way they'll be able to give the location of the Google map, and then select group 2. The next destination, you can select, say, your loved one. It could be your family member, your spouse, your children, or your family, or your friends. So I'm just going to type in their cell phone number. And then the event, I'm going to select emergency only. And for type, you can select SMS text. That way, when anything happens, they're able to receive the location where you're at through Google Map. And so just make sure they have a smartphone so they can receive that information. And then group 3. That way, I selected group 1, group 2, group 3, so that all 3 will be notified when the Mobile Lite user presses the button. If you just want the first available caller to pick up and the other 2 discarded, then you just select all group 1. That way, when the CMS operator picks up, the next 2 information will be discarded. What you can do is you can select Write to record it, and move on to the next feature, which is your geofence. Now for this feature allows you to set the parameters for the Mobile Lite user to notify the contacts when the user leaves a designated area you have set. So if the person decides to go for a run or a jog, and he or she decides to take the Mobile Lite with them, it'll notify the contacts that they have left the parameters that you have set. So geofence, I'm going to select circle range, And for latitude and longitude information, you're going to have to go to Google Map and just find the location where they're located, and just right click on that location and select what's here. And here is the information, latitude and longitude. So what you do is you want to input this information into your PC programming tool, and I'm just going to type in a random number. And longitude, if you remember, there was a negative, so but if you type in a negative first, this will happen. So what you want to do is type in the number first, and then go in front of the 1 and type in the negative, and it'll allow you to do so. The next is radius, and you can type in from 200 meters to 10,000 meters. I'll type in 200, right, and should record it. Next is your setting. Now this here you have many options to set for your Mobile Lite. So for the help event, you can choose emergency, medical, or panic. I'll just choose emergency. And the guard time, this is the amount of time it allows you to have before you decide to discard the call. So after the guard time expires, the call will go through. You can disable it, or you can go have it between 5 seconds to 30 seconds. So I'm going to choose 10 seconds. And then for speech report ACK, this feature allows you to choose how the call recipient should receive the call. You can choose off hook, which the call will be successful once the recipient picks up the receiver, or you can choose any DTMF, and this requires the call recipient to touch the keypad notifying the call has been received. And so for convenience, I'm just going to select off hook. Next is your two-way timer, and this is the amount of time you're allowed to talk two-way. It could be anywhere from 1 minute to say 30 minutes. Whoop. Yeah, 30 minutes. So I'll just select 5 minutes. And then callback timer is a set amount of time the Mobile Lite will automatically pick up if the call recipient decides to call back within that time frame. And you can disable it, or you could set it up to 30 minutes as well. But in this case, I'll just say 5 minutes. And auto check-in interval, this is the length of time between check-in reports, but for this option, I'm just going to disable the feature. And auto check-in offset, this is just the amount of time the check-in, this will automatically check in the amount of time after the Mobile Lite has been rebooted or reset. So after the Mobile Lite has been turned on, it will check in automatically after 1 hour. Next is your guard time sound. You can choose on or off. Confirmation sound on or off too as well. Mobile silent, if you decide to enable it, it will be a listen in only communication. However, I'm just going to disable it. And for speaker volume, you can choose between 1 through 5. I'm going to choose, I recommend 5 for the hearing impaired. And for voice prompt, I've enabled it. You can also disable it if you like. For answer incoming call, I'm going to select off, and the reason why I'm doing that is because I don't want to receive any unwanted calls such as telemarketers or even wrong numbers. So what I'm going to do is select right, and it'll record it. Next is your GPS feature, and this option gives you the whereabouts of the user from every 3 minutes to an hour in interval time. If you have a child that's going to the mall or the movies, you can track their location from the time they leave and until they come back. So you can check, say, up to an hour every 30 minutes or every hour. I'm just going to choose 30 minutes, and then track report, I'm going to enable it. However, if you don't want to use this feature, you can always disable it too as well. Select right, and you're ready to go. Next is your caller ID, and now this function with the numbers you input here, say if I type in a cell phone number of a spouse or something, you could this will automatically the Mobile Lite will automatically recognize this number, and it will pick up automatically. So select right. And then last tab is your miscellaneous. Now here you can check your signal strength by clicking on it. And for scream duration, if you select scream, it'll let out a long, loud beep and also give you the location of your Mobile Lite. And this is what it will sound like. Next is your location, and this will give you the location of the Mobile Lite as well through Google Map. Now, after you've input all the settings, it's a good idea to reboot the device. That's just highly recommended. Next is your reboot GSM if you want to reboot the signal. And for a factory reset, if you decide to do a factory reset, it'll wipe out all your settings. You're going to have to start all over. So if you want to do a factory reset through your Mobile Lite, all you have to do is push the button for 15 seconds and it'll automatically do a factory reset. So after I've inputted all the information here, now I'm ready to save the profile. And once I've saved the profile, it's going to be recorded, and you can go through each tab and pull it up. So if you want to go through a different setting, a different different Mobile Lite user, you can go to a different, say his name is Michael or John Doe. Just go to John Doe, and then his settings will pop up, and all you have to do is just write on each tab. So if you want to just program into your Mobile Lite, just click on write on all of them, and it should program the settings into that Mobile Lite. Anyways, if you have any questions regarding programming, just feel free to call us or email us at any time, and we'll be happy to assist you. This concludes tutorial part 2, programming the Mobile Lite. Thank you.